Welcome to Eureka Street Crypto. This is my anti-professional crypto channel. I'm just a barely sane dude who fell down the cryptocurrency rabbit hole. This channel is my fumbling attempt to communicate myself outside my own head about my journey in the crypto space. It is basically my brain dump. None of this is actual financial advice. What's up? I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto Hub, broadcasting live at 6:35 in the morning on December 22nd, 2021. Today is Christmas Eve, right? So Christmas Eve 24th, Christmas Eve the 23rd, and Christmas Eve the 22nd. That's how my mind works. Anyway, this is my morning show, aka video blog. If you stumbled on for the first time, welcome. You'll see how I operate real quick. Anyway, I'm not sponsored by anybody, not shilling anything, and I don't do technical analysis, and I'm not your teacher, man. So this is just my morning brain dump where I just kind of externalize and puke out everything that I've learned the day before in this crypto space, because this crypto space is always evolving and always growing. One day I might have one opinion, and another day that opinion might be completely different based on some new developments and things that I learned in this crypto space. So nobody's a professional, that's for sure. So that being said, let's move on. I've been doing this every single day, and you catch me every single morning. If you're listening on YouTube, I'm also available on Spotify. So if you have like a subway commute or a long commute across town like I do to work on most days, yeah, that's a good time to listen to podcasts. You can pop me on Spotify if you just want to listen to something completely brainless and just kind of zone out. So, all right. That being said, let's go on here to the old CoinGecko. I generally start out with this. Not that I sit there and really, keep track of a bunch of prices or anything. But I do kind of like to look at the patterns, and every single day take a look at CoinGecko and see kind of, some people, I'm sure, look at CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap and CoinPaprika and Coin Codex and all that multiple times per day. I do too. Sneaking away while they're at family functions, sitting extra long on the toilet to scroll through. Maybe your wife or your girlfriend thinks you're looking at some porn, but you're looking at crypto porn is what you're looking at. So I gotta check my prices, gotta go ahead and check my DeFi positions, all those crazy positions, all the fly positions, extra leverage. So yeah, anyway, let me zoom this out. Maybe I just make myself laugh in the morning. I don't have anybody to talk to about this stuff, so you're it, and I was just sitting here. My wife was like, "Who are you talking to in there?" I'm like, "I'm talking to nobody and everybody at the same time." Oh, anyway. So Bitcoin is at $49,214.43. Ethereum is at $4,000.20 and $4,020.61. So finally, Ethereum has gotten back up above 4,000, which I think is pretty good. Bitcoin is almost back at 50,000. So there's been a little bit of a green day. Binance Coin 537.54. Tether's $1. Wow. I think the stable coins just need to be taken out of the equation, out of these charts. Stable coins and wrapped tokens, that just noise in there. Solana 184.56, up 14.6% in the past few days. XRP pushed up above Cardano at 94 cents. XRP got a 16.8% jump. Cardano $1.35, up 6%. Everything's green right now, pretty much. And then we got ninth place Terra, 95.43. I wish I would have bought Terra a long time ago when I made my original video about Terra, but I didn't. And then Avalanche, I haven't really bought into Avalanche, but I'm using the Avalanche blockchain for the Wonderland.money DeFi Ohm fork, and I'll look at some Ohm forks here in a little bit. I love Ohm forks. I love this whole concept of DeFi 2.0 and the whole idea of protocol own liquidity and stuff like that. And there's some really good forks out right now that have some really high APYs. And if you know about them, you just got to jump on in and get it while it's hot, you know? So, yeah. So Avalanche is at 122.28. It was down to like $77 last week. So, yeah. Congrats to people who just kept on buying Avalanche despite all the FUD for a little while there. Polkadot 26.41, and then we'll skip over the doggy coins. It's funny because the Mongoose coin has really taken a lot of hold ever since, was it Brad Sherman, that congressperson, was like railing on crypto or something, and he made up some coin called a Mongoose coin. And since then, a Mongoose coin has developed, and it's actually been doing fairly well. I'll look at that here at some point if I remember. So yeah, and the Polygon is, you know, the kind of layer 2 solution for Ethereum, up 32.4%. So anyway, so I was going to talk about Avalanche, Polkadot, Cardano, Solana, Terra, all these other layer 1 blockchains. And I read an article, and I read articles, and I get tons of articles every single day in my inbox, and I only get to read through a few of them because a lot of times I'll like pull it up at a stoplight, you know, I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know, and then like I'll, you know, forget about it, and then I'll never read it. Or it's like, I love Robert Breedlove, man, but bless his heart, that dude writes articles, and when he writes them, they're like freaking 30-page, you know, just like tomes, you know, and it's just like, oh man, I want to sit down and have time to read this, but I can't. But I do listen to his podcast, What is Money, and it's really good. Okay, so anyway, back to this article that that popped in, and it asked this question, you know, like, which one is better, you know, these layer 2 solutions or all these multiples of layer 1s? So it said, go multi-chain or not going to make it. Obviously, this is like an opinion piece, you know, but I thought it was an interesting opinion piece. So hold on, let me see here. Okay, let me kind of zoom this out for the viewing audience. And yeah, so you can happily follow along with me if that is what you so desire. Okay, so there are two kinds of people in crypto: those who accept that crypto, the future, is multi-chain, and those who ignorantly believe that their chain is the best and most decentralized. Well, okay, you can tell which stance this article takes, but you know, so neither number two, I mean, it already sets a stage, you know what I'm saying? Those who ignorantly believe that I mean, there are some people who believe that their chain will, yeah, well, like, okay, I'll get into this in a little bit. Let me just read some of this article before I share some of my opinions on some of the language in here. Although I do think it is a good article and worth reading here. Okay, so, number two, those who ignorantly believe that their chain is the best and most decentralized. The number two are mostly Bitcoin maximalists and ETH maximalists, right? I think some Cardano heads can fit in this category too. That's fine, and I really get their points. Bitcoin is the most secure chain out there, and Ethereum might be the most decentralized one after Bitcoin. However, that doesn't mean other chains will grow as well. Crypto is all about testing belief systems, and if your best is wrong, crypto punishes you right away. That's why it's essential to stay as open-minded as possible in crypto. Why? Because then you cannot go wrong. If you're interested in everything, you're almost guaranteed to win, but if you stay closed-minded and arrogant, you're guaranteed to lose. I believe in that to an extent, right? And whenever you see somebody, myself included, you know, jump into crypto, they kind of look like a Boy Scout with an entire sash full of hundreds of merit badges representing all the tokens and projects that they have in their bags. Yeah. Ray Dalio himself says diversify, right? Other people might take another approach. They say you haven't done your own research if you aren't laser focusing into just a handful or one or two projects. And that has merit too. You know, because if you're spreading yourself so thin, if one really moons up into the air, then you really, you know, it doesn't really make that whole bit of difference. But if you have done your research and you've really researched and you want to, you know, like, it's a little more risky, you know, to place a bet on one or two projects, and then those moon, then you're doing very well. But then again, I always say it's about Web3 and not crypto. I'm not here to gamble, or, you know, I do speculate, but, you know, it's like, I'm here for Web3 as a whole, and I love the technology. I love the spirit behind it. I love the art. I love everything going on in Web3 right now. So me trying to find tokens, little micro cap gems, and, you know, whatever, maximalism to one project is not really something I'm interested in. But I do see the merit of the idea of laser focusing, and it shows that you have really done research and you believe in one particular system. So, you know, this article completely goes to the whole thing of, you know, diversification and being open-minded to tons of different projects. And I think that's great. And you can be laser focused while also being open-minded to a lot of different projects, I think. But that's just like my opinion, man. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the losers of the industry. Communities and DAOs which ignore that the future is multi-chain. Okay, so why is Uniswap, Synthetics, etc.? Why do they go single chain? All right. Okay. So actions speak louder than words. One of the most interesting observations I've made in crypto is whether or not DeFi protocols on Ethereum are betting on a multi-chain future. Take Uniswap, for example. Obviously, the Uniswap team knows that the future is multi-chain. However, they're betting on a very unique type of multi-chain, multi-blockchain world, a roll-up centric world. And, you know, if you go to Uniswap, I mean, they have, you know, Optimism available, which is a roll-up. And a roll-up is a certain layer 2 solution built specifically on Ethereum. And so that's basically Ethereum maximalism. And Uniswap caters to Ethereum. It, you know, has layer 2 solutions built for Ethereum. I mean, it is about as Ethereum centric as you can get. And let's go over here to this other website called L2Beat. And L2Beat's a great tracker of different layer 2 solutions. Let me let this page load here. But it has been criticized. You know, for instance, Arbitrum is a roll-up solution as well. And that's another layer 2 solution. But L2Beat really it has been criticized for not paying attention to other types of layer 2 solutions and really only focusing on roll-ups. Although I do see Validium here, and then some Plasma down there. You know, but yeah, this is a good website to kind of look into how much money and total value locked is going into all these layer 2 solutions. I really like this website a lot. But yeah, I have seen some criticism by a few people on their Twitter pages saying, you know, this, you know, rollupbeat.com instead of L2beat.com. Not sure I totally agree with that, but you know, it's a cool website. So go check it out for yourself. I'll put the link in the the video description. So as you can see here, Arbitrum is the #1 layer 2 solution. So yeah, DYDX, Loopring, Boba Network is a new up and coming one. Optimism, ZK Swap, Immutable X, Diversify, ZK Sync. I mean, there's a lot of layer 2 solutions. A lot of these I don't really know about, and I need to really look into as well. So cool. Anyway, so let's go back to this article. I pointed out that Uniswap is pretty much Ethereum based, and then, you know, L2 is very focused on rollups for the most part. So this means that Uniswap is betting on a world where Ethereum captures the majority of the network effect. A world where Ethereum scales with rollups and sidechains. It's kind of an interesting bet to take because Uniswap is basically ignoring the flourishing L1 ecosystem outside of Ethereum. With Uniswap's launch on Optimism, they signaled their belief and trust in the Ethereum ecosystem while ignoring everything that is taking place outside of it. Don't get me wrong, Uniswap can launch on both Optimism, you know, Solana, an example given Solana, but this is certainly not what they plan to do. Uniswap stands or falls with Ethereum. You're not going to see any Solana on Uniswap right now anyway. So another good example is Synthetics. Back in July 2021, Synthetics announced that it launched on Optimism. But will Synthetics ever launch on Solana, Avalanche, Cosmos, etc.? I highly doubt it. Why? Because there's an Ethereum native protocol. They grew up in a world where Ethereum was the only chain out there that worked. Uniswap and Synthetics are prime examples of Ethereum maximalism. And in this article's opinion, the bet that they're taking is risky. But there's another example of an Ethereum native protocol that decided to launch on any chain that exists. Aave. So basically, you know, I mean, I'm a part of the Bankless DAO, and a lot of people in the Bankless DAO are very Ethereum centric as well. Yeah, and you know, I mean, what is it? Ultrasound money. The entire meme is like very Ethereum centric. You know, yeah, that's like the battle cry for Ethereum maximalism. I mean, but I mean, the thing is I like Ethereum. You know, regardless of all the criticisms and gas fees and all that stuff, I think I'm more long term focused, and but they do make good points about Uniswap and synthetics being purely just like, you know, Ethereum engines, and then they contrast it with Aave. All right, Aave is a decentralized finance protocol. Synthetics was actually the first DeFi protocol that I used, which is weird because I didn't even know what a derivative was at the time. And then I figured out Aave and how to use that, and that was my second DeFi protocol to use. So let's take a look at this app here. Aave protocol. I'm on the webpage, the homepage, the website, and all that stuff real quick. Let me zoom this out so you can kind of see. All right. So it looks like there's $26 billion in the liquidity pool, liquidity protocol right now. So, and it's completely open source. It's not owned by anybody, and you can lock up your crypto as collateral and borrow against it. Get good interest rates. You can put your crypto to be able to be borrowed by other people, and I've done both. And so yeah, oops, let me just go ahead and stop that alarm. I get up before the alarm goes off. And I want to zoom this way out so you can see, you know, all the tokens that are available right now. So, you know, Matic, DAI, USDC, Tether, Wrap Ethereum, Wrap Bitcoin. Yeah, and that's another thing too. People are wrapping up their Bitcoin and putting it on the Ethereum blockchain to put it in protocols like this so they can borrow against it and put their Bitcoin to work. So yeah. Anyway, right now it's checked on the Polygon market here, but you know, there's version 2, version 1, and then over here you can see it has Avalanche. So it has some different options available. So let's go to my dashboard. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so you can see that there's a few options available on Aave, and that they are not just Ethereum centric. So the difference between Aave and Uniswap is that Aave is chain agnostic. Even though Aave's initial version launched on Ethereum, the protocol decided not to stay loyal to only Ethereum. In fact, Aave is already launched on many different chains, including Polygon and Avalanche, as I just showed you. In addition, Aave plans to launch on most blockchains in the future, which means that Aave will launch on any chain that has sufficient liquidity and activity. Aave is always looking for the best communities and developer environments to deploy its own protocol. Until now, this worked perfectly fine. In fact, Aave has surpassed $10 billion in liquidity when you combine their TVL on Polygon and Avalanche. And as we can see right here, it's $26 billion in liquidity right now. Aave is an open source and non-custodial liquidity protocol for earning interest on deposits and borrowing assets. Okay, so let's go back to this article. And it shows the liquidity. It has some healthy liquidity. I mean, obviously the most liquidity is on version 2, $14 billion. But I mean, it has a healthy, at the time of this writing, $5 billion on Polygon and $5 billion on Avalanche. The question is, which strategy is better? What's the better strategy for a protocol to not only survive but thrive in the long term? So Aave is a great example of why it makes sense to deploy your protocol on as many chains as possible. Why? Just take a look at the numbers. Aave's liquidity on layer 1s, excluding Ethereum, has exceeded $10 billion. That means Aave would have missed out on billions of dollars in liquidity if it didn't choose to launch there. That means the question to launch on other chains simply comes down to one single question. Do you want to capture more liquidity or not? To me, the answer is very clear. It makes sense for protocols to be chain agnostic. And I tend to agree with that. You know, I mean, I've used Avalanche. I like Avalanche. I've recently used Phantom blockchain, and I love Phantom. It's super quick. I love that Andre Cronje is a big part of it, and I like that they're using that hash graph technology, the DAG, the directed acyclic graph technology, not hash graph. I can't say that. But yeah, they call it lechises. But anyway, I'm going on tangents. Yeah, so I recently used Phantom. I've used Avalanche. I've I've poked around Polkadot. And then I've used the layer 2. I've poked around Polkadot a little bit, like the Kusama and Polkadot network, the Roam DAOs on that. And then of course, there's the layer 2s. I mean, Polygon is it's kind of more of a side chain than a real layer 2, but it's used as a layer 2 for Ethereum. And then I've used Arbitrum, ZK Sync. And I've used Optimism. I've even used Loopring, right? So, yeah, there's lots of liquidity on Solana, Avalanche, and Cosmos, etc. Protocols independently of their philosophy and vision of the future should ask themselves whether or not they want to grab a piece of the pie. If they don't want to, well then, the old adage, not old, but have fun staying poor, right? Your protocol can grow a lot just by deploying it on as many chains as possible. There's one undebatable fact. There's lots of money to be made in the interchain world. And actually, there's a lot of money to be made in crypto right now in general. Some people say, well, the NFT boom, that was so 2021. Oh, the DeFi boom, that was so 2020. It's not necessarily true. I mean, just because something might have blown up when it first came out doesn't really mean that it won't continue on to have a more slow, subtle rise in the future. Look at the dot-com boom in the 90s. It blew up at first, and there's a lot of dot-coms that kind of fell to the wayside, and then overall, out of all the the rubble rose several winners. So anyway, so there's a lot of money to be made in the interchain world. Not just Ethereum, not just Bitcoin, not just one blockchain. You can capture it, which is good for the long-term healthier project, but you can also ignore it, which is, in my opinion, counterintuitive. There's literally no downside of launching a protocol elsewhere. At least if your protocol was initially launched on Ethereum and you want to deploy it on other EVM-compatible chains, there's no cost associated with copying the code and launching it on EVM-compatible chains. No cost plus value capture equals moon. Right? And I don't want to be like a moon boy, like load your bags, get your bags ready, pack your bags. But I'm not trying to do that. But I'm just, So basically, what they're saying is there's no cost associated with copying the code and launching it on EVM compatible chains. I mean, look at what Binance Smart Chain did. Like literally, it is copy and pasted. Like you can still see like links in there that are used from for instance, Pancake Swap still has hyperlinks in there that are exactly the same as the Ethereum version of it, as Uniswap. So that's why protocols deciding to stay single chain are not going to make it. Okay, they will lose their competitive advantage to open-minded multi-chain communities and DAOs. In the end, only the open-minded win, the closed-minded will lose, and that can happen fairly quickly. So I think there's a difference between being closed-minded and then being focused and honed and laser-focused on one project because you believe in it. Yeah, just because, I mean, I've kind of focused my portfolio, I guess, my bags, down to just a few projects that I like. I'm not all over the place anymore, like the whole Boy Scout merit badge thing, like I used to be. I've gotten rid of a lot of tokens that are like real World Economic Forum focused and banker tokens and stuff like that. I've basically tried to focus more on stuff that I believe in and that I just kind of like, because like I said, I'm not just in it, this is business. I'm here to make money, like, sure, I want to make some money, but I also want to support like projects that I like. And like I talked about yesterday, buying the paper token for the Dope Wars project. I think the project is cool, so I want to support it, and that's why I bought the paper token and I ended up buying an NFT. So yeah, and then same thing with the Infinite Machine book, and the Infinite Machine movie project. I mean, I don't know if that NFT is gonna be worth anything later, but I bought it because I support that project, and then if it does end up blowing up, then it could be worth something. So yeah, but yeah, it all goes back to DYOR, and I don't want to be those people that's like, oh, do your own research. Shut up, man. Just do your own research. Because that's kind of the other side of it too. You can kind of be a prick to somebody new coming into the space and they're asking like questions. You know, some questions are kind of silly and newbie and stuff like that. But you know, for you to just be like, shut up and do your own research, you know, you just sound like just as much of a jackass. So sorry to be harsh, but you know. Anyway, let's move on. So yesterday I ended the show talking about ENS domain names and stuff like that. So I have two ENS domain names. It's eurekajohn.eth and eurekastreet.eth, and I also have skateboardparty.eth, but I haven't connected those to any wallet address yet. So, and you can see here, skateboard party still sits. I'm kind of squatting on it at the moment till I figure out what to do with it. I think it would be cool to kind of collect a bunch of skateboard NFTs once they start popping up and put them right there in that address and kind of have like a little skateboard collection. Yeah. So, anyway, that's a sidetrack. So yeah. So anyway, if you take your Ethereum name, and you add .xyz at the end of it, then boom, as you can see here, it pops up with your own website, just like bam, just made. And this is like, okay, some people have had their heads kind of racked as this whole like idea of your decentralized ID and your wallet address and you being able to go from social network to social network and take your network, you know, your friends, your items that you've gathered, your NFTs, your stuff with you, your money with you, and you go to another social media platform. So if you don't, for instance, let's just pretend for a second that, you know, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, TikTok, that they're decentralized, right? And say, for instance, Facebook started acting like Facebook and they started like censoring you, and, you know, the thought police start coming around because, you know, you might have said something about the thing that goes in your arm. That's, you know, yeah. And they don't like what your opinion is about it. So they put you in thought police jail. Well, you know, or they start censoring you, you know, or maybe in the future you'll be earned or denied credit based on your social network and who you know and stuff like that. So, or I don't know. But say you don't like the social media platform's policies. Well, now you have the power to take that and take everything you own and get up and get out of there and go somewhere else to another platform that does so less, but you get to take your friends with you, and you get to take your stuff with you, your NFTs, you know, yeah, you get to take all your comments with you, maybe even. But I think that still needs to be developed and stuff like that. But you know, you get to at least take all your pictures with you, because then I think your pictures would be NFTs. But this is kind of like the nascent concept of that right here, is this whole idea that eurekajohn.eth.xyz shows my NFT collection. Now, what if I can start uploading photos to that? You know, like the reason a lot of people stay on Facebook is because they're like, well, you know, I have all my photos on there, you know, and like, I mean, I have photos, family photos on Facebook too. And then I have like connections with, you know, some relatives and people from high school and stuff like that. I mean, at this point though, you know, I'm about to turn 46 here in a week. Like a lot of people that are, you know, that I stayed on Facebook for, that are in high school, like literally I haven't seen them since high school, maybe once at a reunion. So I think it might just be time to move on down the road. You know, I don't think that the cost of me holding on to my data is worth, you know, keeping in contact with somebody that I've spoken to maybe once or twice since high school, or not at all. So yeah. But yeah, so you can pick up and take all that stuff with you. And, you know, you're looking at right now this eurekajohn.eth, this Web3 profile in its infancy. But this is what decentralized social media looks like, you know. So let's go over here to the ens.domains. This is the app.ens.domains. So if you want to set up an ENS domain for yourself, ens.do, just go to ens.domains right here. And you can do the old, you know, like search and see if that name is taken and stuff like that. And then you can buy your domains, and, you know, you have to pay Ethereum gas fees. And Sometimes it can be pretty expensive. You know, a couple weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago, like it was going to cost you like almost about $200 to buy one. But I bought one just a few days ago, and it wasn't terrible. It was like $40 or something like that. But oh yeah, I'm on the Phantom network. It shows unsupported network. So let me get over here out of the Phantom network and show and see, that's the thing is in MetaMask, you have what's called RPCs, remote procedure calls, and you can use MetaMask and use a lot of different blockchains on it. So that's, you know, when things are EVM compatible and Ethereum virtual machine compatible and stuff like that. It has some Ethereum compatibility, which is kind of cool. So anyway, you can create different channels on your MetaMask wallet and switch between blockchains. So I was switching to Phantom to look up some of my holdings on HectorDAO, which is on the Phantom blockchain. And I also have Avalanche on there, I have Binance Smart Chain. You know, I got a buttload of different RPCs, but I don't want to get sidetracked here because I tend to do that. All right, so let me go to this here app.ens domains now that I'm back on the Ethereum blockchain. And yeah, so that's one good thing about MetaMask. And I heard that they'll be dropping a MetaMask token at some point here. You know, I think the Joe Lubin kind of alluded to that, and you know, I haven't read the direct quotes or anything, so don't mark me on that. But here is where you can search for your ENS domain name, you know, search names or address, and that's how I came up with Eureka Street and Eureka John, and you know, then I bought Skateboard Party. So yeah, and then if you have had an ENS domain name before, you probably won't be watching this video, but you can go claim your ENS tokens. They did that ENS airdrop. But yeah, you know, you can change all your details about a particular address here. And so this one right here is showing eurekastreet.eth, and you can go in and change a bunch of the settings that will be displayed whenever you pull up eurekajohn.eth.xyz, and you can change the stuff that is shown on there. You can change it to show different websites, different NFTs, a different avatar, you know, a profile pic, and all that stuff. Let's see eurekastreet.eth right here. So yeah, let's see here. Transfer, set, extend. I bought one on one address, and I had to transfer over to another address and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do with this, and you can go poke around all the settings here and customize your little ETH XYZ website the way you want it, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool. As you can see here, here's Eureka Street. Now I got this collection of NFTs showcasing. I have my email address right there readily available because I put that in there. I haven't set any profile pic just yet because I don't have the profile pic that I want on this computer. So yeah, pretty cool, huh? And then whenever you log into a Web3 website, a dApp, then it will show your name instead of the web address up there, the Ethereum address. So anyway, I think that's pretty cool, and it's to me the birth of Web3 and social media, decentralized social media. So the platform won't be driving you; you will be driving the platform. So yeah, go get you one. Anyway, I never really got to the Ohm forks. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. There's a bunch of different Ohm forks out there, and there's a really good article that I want to go. It's ohmforks.com. Yeah, it just shows a bunch of different projects that are forks of Ohm, and Ohm is kind of the OG now. And I hate to say it because it's still brand new to a lot of people, for DeFi 2.0, which is protocol owned liquidity, hottest Olympus DAO forks, you know, and it shows them on there's Olympus DAO forks now on pretty much every single blockchain. Now, what that article I was talking about being multi-chain, it's really important, especially if you're interested in DeFi 2.0 and in Ohm forks like I am. I mean, you see here, there's Arbitrum, Boba, AVAX, BSC, Kronos, even Ethereum, Phantom, Clayton, One blockchain, Mover, Matic, Sol, Terra, and then others. I've never heard of one, and I've never messed around with Clayton. And then, you know, Kronos, that's the whole crypto.com blockchain. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to explore here, and the page is not really loading very well to show the logos, but as you can see as I'm scrolling down, there are a lot of protocols that are using this this Ohm model of DeFi 2.0 protocol owned liquidity. So yeah, yeah, a lot of these I have not heard of. So I'll have some exploring to do. Redacted protocol is a whole other monster, man. That's insane. You got to use a VPN if you're in the United States to get to redacted protocol. Yeah, you want to go down a rabbit hole? You want to go down a rabbit hole? Well, go into the redacted protocol. Let's see here. I had it pulled up. It's a redactedcartel.xyz. So yeah, you want to go down a rabbit hole? Go to redactedcartel.xyz and you will see what I'm talking about. All right. Well, that being said, I'm going to call this one a show, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow on Christmas Eve. I know today was Christmas Eve, or Christmas Eve. Yeah. All right. Well, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.